Hi, my name is RJ Kessler and this is Planted Rock Farm in Chattahoochee Hills, Georgia. Today we're going to talk about soil blocking. Soil blocking is beneficial because it saves us money. With soil blocking, we don't have to buy the plastic trays that are traditionally used in transplant making. Soil blocking also saves us time because when we're out in the field, instead of having to pull each individual transplant out of the cell trays, they are in a solid block which we can break apart by hand very quickly. And finally, soil blocking is much more beneficial to the environment. We do not have to use the plastic trays, which have a shelf life of only 2 or 3 years. It's just the soil and the plants. When soil blocking, we start by making our own potting mix. Our potting mix consists of compost, peat moss, perlite, and green sand. After the soil is mixed, we wet it thoroughly to the consistency of peanut butter. This is crucial in helping keep the molds together after they've been made. The soil pile is now thoroughly moist. To test to make sure the moisture is adequate, we're going to do a test soil block. Now, when testing the soil block, the method is pretty simple. We hold it in our hand and do that. If the soil block stays intact, we're good to go. If it falls apart, usually that means the soil is too dry. The soil block maker has nipples in it that punch a small indent in the top of the mold. In this indent is where you will place the seeds. So when we finish seeding, we add a top layer of the potting mix that has been mixed with a high percentage of vermiculite to provide better aeration, and it allows light through for seeds such as lettuce, which needs light to germinate. So we put a few handfuls on top and spread to a thin layer. While we're spreading, we like to fill in any of the cracks in between the soil trays, and we like to even up any of the soil blocks that may have ended up shorter than the rest of them. This will prevent water from pooling in those areas later on, which is detrimental to the germination of your seeds. And that's a nice even top right there. While the seedlings are germinating, it's important to keep the soil blocks as moist as possible. Compared to doing transplants in these trays, where you have to be concerned about overwatering, the soil blocks do not suffer from what's called hypersaturation. They merely will let any excess water flush through. You may be wondering at this point why all of the soil blocks are sitting on these black trays. It's simply a matter of convenience, and the black trays are simply here from prior practice. In the future, we will be moving to covering all of our tables in this thin screened mesh, which will allow us to put the soil blocks directly onto the table. This is broccoli that was seeded about 4 weeks ago. Ideally, we would have planted this out last week. But the beauty of soil blocks is if you run long on getting these into the ground, they do not get root bound in the cell. Rather, the roots just continue to grow straight out, so you do not have to worry about breaking them up at transplanting time. We're ready to put these broccoli transplants into the ground. First, we will dunk the transplants into a fertilizer mix of fish emulsion and dried sea kelp. The mold comes off in its entirety like this. We dunk the whole thing. And now they're ready to be put out. As we place them out, each cell breaks apart very easily like this. So that's soil blocking from the beginning to the end. I've been doing soil blocking for about 3 years now, and it not only saves a lot of time and money, It also saves a lot of backache.